Let's get into it. What you're about to hear is too perfectly arranged to be an accident. Number 10. Most of the Milky Way would kill us before we could even land. The galactic center is a radiation furnace, a continuous explosion of supernovae and gamma-ray bursts, so powerful they sterilize everything within thousands of light years. The outer edges, on the other hand, are a wasteland of hydrogen and helium, lacking the heavy elements needed to build life. But between these two death zones lies a narrow strip of relative calm. Astronomers call it the galactic habitable zone. Earth sits inside it. It didn't have to be this way, and yet it is. We did not just win the lottery of being on the right planet, we won the lottery of being in the right neighborhood, inside the right galaxy, at the right moment in cosmic time. All of those lotteries simultaneously. Number 9. Our sun is not a typical star. It is one of the quieter ones, and that matters more than most people realize. The most common stars in the universe are red dwarfs, small, violent, and prone to erupting with radiation storms. That would strip the atmosphere from any nearby planet, like paint off a wall. Our sun belongs to a category that makes up only about 7% of all stars. It burns with almost no drama, and has done so for over 4 billion years, long enough for life to move from single cells to the thing listening to the sentence. The sun's most remarkable feature is its boringness, and because of that boringness, you are alive. Number 8. Water is the strangest molecule in chemistry, and Earth has it in quantities that defy simple explanation. Most substances become denser when they freeze. Water does the opposite. Ice is lighter than liquid water, so it floats. This seems like a small chemical footnote until you follow the consequences. If ice sank, oceans would freeze from the bottom up, permanently. No seasonal melt, no circulation, no chemistry, just a solid frozen planet with nowhere for life to begin. Instead, ice forms an insulating layer at the surface, like a blanket pulled over a sleeping planet, protecting the liquid water beneath. Nature arranged this 4 billion years before anyone was alive to notice. Earth also has the right amount of water, enough to drive the climate system, but not so much that the continents disappear entirely. A planet completely covered in ocean has no exposed rock, no carbon cycle, no tectonic activity. Likely sterile. Earth sits just below that threshold. Water behaves as if it were designed for biology. Every strange property it has turns out to benefit life. All of them pointing in the same direction. No other molecule in chemistry does this. Number 7. Earth is the only planet in the solar system with active plate tectonics, and without them, the surface would be dead. Tectonics acts as a planetary thermostat, recycling carbon and preventing the runaway greenhouse effect. That turned Venus into a 460-degree furnace, where lead melts on the ground. It also keeps Earth's iron core molten and churning, generating the magnetic field that shields the surface from solar radiation. Mars lost that field billions of years ago. Its atmosphere bled away into space. Its oceans dried up. Today, it is a freeze-dried desert with no atmosphere and no second chances. Plate tectonics is not geology. It is the mechanism that keeps the planet alive. Earth is the only rocky world in this solar system still running it. 7 down. Each one improbable on its own. What comes next is where it gets personal. Number 6. Earth has a moon that is far too large to be unremarkable. The moon's gravity holds Earth's axial tilt within a stable range. What gives us predictable seasons? Without it, the axis could swing by 90 degrees. Polar ice would migrate to the equator. Ecosystems built over millions of years would vanish in thousands. The moon formed from a catastrophic collision with a Mars-sized body 4.5 billion years ago. The impact ejected debris into precisely the right orbit, close enough to stabilize the tilt, far enough not to tear the planet apart. The collision that should have ended Earth is the reason Earth survived. That is not a metaphor. That is the geological record. Number 5. Earth's atmosphere is not just air. It is a self-regulating system that has kept conditions within a narrow range for billions of years. Nitrogen dilutes oxygen just enough. that the air does not spontaneously combust. Oxygen fuels the metabolism complex life requires. Carbon dioxide controls global temperature. The ozone layer, a region of a single molecule, blocks the ultraviolet radiation that shreds DNA. Oxygen is chemically aggressive. It should bond with everything around it and vanish. It doesn't, because life keeps making more of it. Life maintains the atmosphere. The atmosphere maintains life, each one holding the other up. This feedback loop between biology and chemistry has been running for over 2 billion years without a permanent breakdown. It has no instruction manual, it simply continues. 5 conditions, each one necessary, none of them guaranteed. The next 4 are the ones that make scientists go quiet when they think about them too carefully. Number 4. Earth has a bodyguard. It has been working in silence for over 4 billion years. Jupiter's gravitational field regularly captures or ejects objects that would otherwise cross Earth's orbit. In 1994, astronomers watched in real time as the comet Shoemaker-Levy 9 broke apart and slammed into Jupiter. 21 impacts, each releasing energy equivalent to millions of nuclear weapons. That comet was falling toward the inner solar system. Jupiter stepped in front of it. It has been doing this quietly, routinely, for 4 billion years. A comet the size of a mountain, carrying energy equivalent to millions of nuclear weapons, aimed at Earth, and a planet 20 times larger stepped in front of it. You will never look at Jupiter the same way again. Number 3. In the 1950s, Fred Hoyle's Italian, one of the greatest physicists of the 20th century, and a committed atheist, set out to calculate how much carbon the universe should contain. What he found shook him to his core. Carbon is the atom from which all known life is made, every cell in your body, every strand of DNA. It is like the Swiss Army knife of the periodic table, except it also forms the hand that holds it, and the brain that decides what happens to it. Hoyle calculated how much carbon the universe should produce, but the result was inexplicable. It wasn't enough, far from enough to create a universe teeming with life. He searched for the reason, and he found it, a mysterious property hidden deep within the carbon atom that causes stars to produce far more carbon than they normally would. Without this property, the universe would be almost carbon-free, and life on Earth would never have arisen. He found it, exactly where the numbers said it had to be. And then he sat with what that meant. Hoyle, the atheist, wrote afterward that the universe looked like a put-up job. He never found another explanation. No one since has either. The atom your body is built from is tuned to exist, not approximately, precisely. And the universe has offered no explanation for why. Number 2, you exist because a rock stayed wet for 4 billion years. That is the simplest way to say it, and it is almost impossible to believe. In that time, Saurav, Earth has been struck by asteroids large enough to cause mass extinctions 5 times, buried under ice ages, choked by supervolcanic winters. And yet, through all of it, liquid water persisted on the surface. Life rebuilt the conditions for its own survival after each catastrophe. The asteroid that ended the dinosaurs, 66 million years ago, was 10 kilometers wide, a slightly larger impactor, a slightly different angle. And the chain of events that produced mammals, primates, and human beings never begins. The dominant life form today might be a bacterium. 4 billion years. Every year conditions remained just inside the range life requires. Not comfortably, not safely, but just enough, every single time. Number 1. The question science has not answered. We have cataloged more than 5,000 exoplanets. We have found planets in habitable zones, rocky planets, planets with water vapor in their atmospheres. What we have not found is a planet with all the conditions Earth has, stacked together, sustained together, for the time required to produce complex life. Not one. Here you are. You are in the galactic habitable zone, orbiting a tranquil star, on a planet whose water remains liquid, whose crust is self-sustaining, whose moon was formed by a cataclysmic event at precisely the right distance, whose atmosphere sustains itself without intervention. protected by a gigantic neighbor that absorbs the blows meant for you. You are created from an atom seemingly perfectly designed for life, and you reside on a world that has survived 5 mass extinctions, volcanic winters, and an asteroid that ended the age of giants. Every single one of these conditions had to be met for you to be alive today. For 4 billion years, not one failed. Either this is the most extraordinary coincidence in the history of existence, or it is not a coincidence at all. Science has not decided, and the fact that we are here to ask the question does not make either answer less terrifying.